Ethiopia, a nation with a rich history and significant influence in the Horn of Africa, has faced numerous challenges over the years. The potential for state collapse, while not imminent, could arise from several key factors. Here are 10 critical issues that could lead to such a scenario. 1. Ethnic tensions and conflict. Ethiopia is a highly diverse nation with over 80 ethnic groups. Rising ethnic tensions, particularly between major groups like the Tigrayans, Oromos, and Amharas, could lead to widespread violence and destabilization. The conflict in Tigray, which began in 2020, is a prime example of how ethnic tensions can spiral into civil war. 2. Political instability. The country's political landscape is fragmented, with the ruling party often clashing with regional leaders and opposition groups. The central government's ability to maintain control is frequently challenged, and a breakdown in political authority could lead to a power vacuum. 3. Economic challenges. Ethiopia's economy, although one of the fastest growing in Africa, remains fragile. High unemployment rates, inflation, and dependency on agriculture make the economy vulnerable to shocks. Economic collapse could exacerbate social unrest and weaken state institutions. 4. Humanitarian crisis. Ongoing conflicts, drought, and food insecurity have created severe humanitarian challenges. Millions of Ethiopians are internally displaced, and a failure to address these issues could lead to further destabilization. 5. Authoritarian governance. The government's repressive measures against political opponents and journalists have created widespread discontent. Continued authoritarian governance could provoke mass protests, leading to a breakdown in law and order. 6. Regional instability. Ethiopia's location in the volatile Horn of Africa means it is affected by the instability of its neighbors, such as Somalia and Sudan. Regional conflicts could spill over into Ethiopia, further complicating its internal issues. 7. Weak institutions. The strength of Ethiopia's institutions, including the judiciary, military, and police, is crucial for maintaining state stability. Corruption, inefficiency, and lack of independence in these institutions could lead to a governance crisis. 8. Environmental degradation. Climate change and environmental degradation, including deforestation and desertification, are significant threats. These issues could lead to resource scarcity, particularly water, sparking conflicts over access to essential resources. 9. Population growth. Ethiopia's rapidly growing population puts immense pressure on resources, infrastructure, and services. If the government cannot meet the demands of this expanding population, social unrest could intensify. 10. Foreign intervention. Ethiopia's strategic importance has made it a focus of foreign intervention by powers such as the US, China, and regional actors like Egypt. Foreign interference, particularly in conflicts like that over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, could escalate tensions and lead to a broader conflict. These factors, individually or in combination, could potentially lead to the collapse of the Ethiopian state if not addressed adequately. Each of these issues requires careful management and strategic planning to prevent a descent into chaos. What role does ethnic violence play in Ethiopia's potential collapse? Ethnic violence plays a significant role in Ethiopia's potential collapse, acting as both a symptom and a driver of broader systemic issues within the country. Here's how ethnic violence contributes to the destabilization of Ethiopia. 1. Deepening divisions among ethnic groups. Ethiopia is home to over 80 distinct ethnic groups, each with its own language, culture, and regional strongholds. The political system, particularly after the introduction of ethnic federalism in the 1990s, has institutionalized these divisions, granting considerable autonomy to ethnic-based regions. However, this has also fostered competition and mistrust between groups, leading to frequent clashes. As ethnic groups vie for power and resources, violence escalates, making national unity increasingly difficult to maintain. 2. Erosion of central authority. Ethnic violence undermines the central government's ability to maintain control and order. As regional and ethnic militias gain power, the central government's authority is weakened, leading to a fragmentation of the state. This can result in regions becoming de facto autonomous or even seeking secession, which would be catastrophic for the integrity of the Ethiopian state. 3. Humanitarian crisis. The violence often leads to mass displacement, with millions of people fleeing their homes to escape ethnic conflicts. This creates severe humanitarian challenges, as displaced populations suffer from lack of food, water, shelter, and healthcare. The resulting humanitarian crisis further strains the government's resources and capacity to govern effectively, contributing to instability. 4. Economic disruption. Ethnic violence disrupts economic activities, particularly in agriculture, which is the backbone of Ethiopia's economy. When ethnic conflicts break out, farmers may be forced to abandon their land, and trade routes can be blocked, leading to food shortages and inflation. This economic disruption can exacerbate poverty and fuel further violence, creating a vicious cycle. 5. Fueling extremism. In areas where the government is unable to maintain order, ethnic militias and extremist groups can gain influence, often using violence to achieve their aims. This not only perpetuates the cycle of violence but also makes it harder for peaceful resolution of conflicts, as extremist ideologies take root in marginalized communities. 6. Threat to national unity. Continuous ethnic violence threatens the very fabric of Ethiopian society by eroding the sense of national identity. When ethnic identity becomes the primary basis for political and social organization, it can lead to the disintegration of the state into ethnically homogeneous regions, each with its own governance structures. This could potentially lead to the breakup of the country, as seen in other nations that have succumbed to ethnic fragmentation. 7. International involvement and pressure. Ethnic violence often attracts international attention, leading to foreign intervention or pressure from neighboring countries. This can complicate the internal dynamics of Ethiopia, as external actors may support different ethnic groups or factions, further inflaming the situation and leading to proxy conflicts. Ethnic violence in Ethiopia is a critical factor that could lead to state collapse. It not only undermines national unity and central authority but also creates a cycle of humanitarian and economic crises that weaken the country's resilience. Addressing ethnic violence through inclusive governance, economic development, and conflict resolution mechanisms is essential to preventing the potential disintegration of Ethiopia. Like, subscribe,